Hey, good morning, guys, and thanks for checking out your latest long range forecast update. Wednesday, September 27th, here, just a little after 6 a.m. You guys remember Rocky 3? I saw this the other day and I was like, dude, I gotta have this. This is the shirt that Sly wore in Rocky 3, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I've got the shirt on today, and I'm repping it. I'm liking it. So, guys, I want to get into the long range forecast discussion today. First and foremost, I want to show you a sneak peek at our new platform, Clarity. It's pretty unbelievable. It's fast. It's incredibly smooth. It's really, really, really cool. It comes with a boatload of features, all kinds of different things that I'm just super excited to roll out this winter. 24-hour rain maps that update every hour. It goes all over the country. There's all kinds of stuff, snowfall data. It's just really, really neat. A fully interactive, very, very fast platform. Check it out. I'll head into my home base here and go to the current radar. And again, you can kind of see, everything that this is doing. It's an amazing platform. Hour by hour forecast can be seen here on the right. I want more details. I click here. I want to go to the winter focus. I want to run a pavement forecast. I do that at the bottom. I've got the ag focus screen for spray details, delta temperature differences. You name it. This is an unbelievably cool platform, and we are so excited to unveil it. Here's the 10-day outlook. There's so much more that this does. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but it's really, really amazing. This is all from the web application, iPad, desktop. There's chat functions. You can talk to a meteorologist. You get our long range maps here on the right. This is a really, really, really cool platform. Can't wait to roll it out here about another month or so, and this thing will be up and running. So how exciting! How exciting for some rain this morning too. We've got some shower and thunderstorm activity across the eastern Corn Belt here, hit or miss. You look at Indiana, Ohio; it's been some of the driest it's been here in a long time, especially in terms of at least recent history. This time of year, it's been really, really dry. So. Guys, one other thing too I want to say about Clarity is when we talk about instantaneous loading and speed and flawlessness, it's all we focused on with this. It's really, really cool, and we have specifically designed it to be better than anything out there that you've seen. We've spent a lot of time and money on it. I can't wait to roll it out, man. You guys are going to love it. So it's dry, but like I said, it has been raining here. We go back over here to the radar. We can see the rain here across again the eastern part of the Corn Belt. All right, put that into motion for you. And again, it's nice. It's nice to see the rain across southern Illinois, central southern Indiana, portions of Ohio and Kentucky as well, and then just kind of getting drenched down there in the southeast with heavy rain and thunderstorms. Temperatures over the last 30 days. Well, they've been, not too bad here. Where it's been drier, it's been seasonal, slightly cooler than average across the eastern belt, cooler to the west as well. Warm across the north and especially down across Texas. All right. Taking a look at rainfall, the next 5 days. Well, you can see where the rain's coming down now. Again, heavy rain in the south and east. Dry elsewhere, except for the perhaps southern Canadian prairies, a few rain chances here over the next 5 days. It's really nothing to run home about here. It's relatively pretty dry. The rain right here is certainly a big welcomed relief for how dry it's been. Knock down some of the dust, the pollen, just the nastiness in the air, and at least bring some relief there. Temperatures the next 5 days are going to run extraordinarily warm from Minnesota, Iowa, portions of eastern Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota as well. Well, most of Kansas, eastern Nebraska, there, West Iowa, running 15 degrees above normal for the next 5 days. You look into the 6 to 10 day, just as warm, only warmer east and into the northeast. Unseasonably warm start to October. Very, very warm in the east. This look right here, classic negative angular momentum look, a very, very strong negative AAM right now. or what we would call a very slow moving global wind pattern with ridging across the northern hemisphere evident. This is the big story, and this is a main picture, main reason to the forecast trends here as of lately, especially the warmer forecast trend for the start of October, is the multiple horrendous, useless P&A forecasts from the weather data. This is the American, just for an example, but each and every new run that comes in, it's more and more negative with the P&A to start October. That is the trough in the Pacific Northwest, the ridge in the east. You can see what it's just continuously correcting, had multiple failed attempts here to go into this positive P&A. Continues to try and do it into the extended period. I think there can be glimpses of this. The issue that I want to make sure that we address here is that I believe that right now there can be a couple of big cold fronts, but seeing the behavior of things right now, the overall colder outcome is really is really questionable. A couple of big fronts around the 9th of October and again around the 15th, I think, are certainly in the cards. But a sustained colder pattern right now, I'm not seeing it yet. I'm just not seeing it. The atmosphere and the ocean are completely disconnected. They're not talking at all. There's really no way to analog this. The best year that we've found to be even remotely useful is 1991. That's 30. That's a long time ago. So it's tough to analog the pattern. If you want to look at some similarities, 91 is possibly not horrible. All right, just keep that in mind here as we continue to talk about this. This is a look at the mega ensemble. This is all the ensembles together. This is the pattern right now. Okay, a big North American ridge here across the north central U.S. And watch what happens by day 10. That ridge continues to hang out. Troughing begins to develop here. All right, watch in the progression here of this pattern. We're at day 15. Watch 13, 14, 15. Note the pattern tries to start to retrograde. Well, there's some indications there can be a bigger cold front here around the 15th of October. But the issue is right here, day 13, this is that big negative P&A. All right. This is really a classic look for a negative angular momentum. And until we start to see that really go positive, we're really going to continue to struggle with the potential, looking here, I'm trying to pull up another map here. We're really going to continue to struggle with the eastern U.S. ridging. And like I said, EPS is trying to pull it back by day 15. There's a couple of things going on I want to show you. First and foremost, westerly wind burst at 120, trying to establish itself. If we can see more of a westerly wind, a product of an El Nino-like wind here across the equatorial Pacific, this would help support the potential for that P&A to actually verify, for it to actually go positive by closer to mid-October. Okay, this tropical forcing forecast here, you can see it moving into 8 and 1, predominantly an MJO phase 1. Could support a possibly colder second half of October. This has been the issue overall. This is the angular momentum forecast. It continues to correct more negative. That's the European. Here's the Canadian's angular momentum forecast, all again staying negative. And then I'd like to show you the GEFS as well. It looks like it's not in. Let me try one more time here. See if, yep, didn't load up. So this is the problem here in the forecast. Is the struggle in getting this angular momentum to go positive. Here's another look here, the CFS, which it looks like these are just not working today. Here we go. Apologize about that. This run here is a couple of days old, but continuously looking at not possibly flipping this thing until we get more into mid-October. And even a few members here they're not so sold. What I want to turn our attention to is East Asia. Okay, as long as the angular momentum is negative, Primarily, October is going to run warmer. Until that starts to flip and turn, we can change that into more of a positive outcome, more of an El Nino like atmosphere that matches the current oceanic state. The predominant forecast factor is going to be a ridge east and a trough west for October. It's seen in East Asia. The pattern that's ongoing now is correlating well to East Asia. This happens often. East Asia is often a good precursor to what the pattern can hold here in North America. Watch what happens. Watch as I go forward. The first sign of a trough coming through of a front comes through around day 4. This would correlate to that 7th or so of October, 7th to 9th for a cold front. I still believe that's on the table. Okay, go fast forward a little bit more. A bigger cold front tries to show up by day 7, 8, 9. Okay, and this would be closer to the October 15th-ish or so cold front. What I want you to watch here is see these two little circles down here. These are potentially westward moving typhoons. That's a risk for warmer weather to return. It'll pump up the ridge here over East Asia. So again, I'm not seeing a total flip to cold for October in terms of a permanent flip. And another thing that kind of drives that point home is the North Pacific ridge that comes back. That correlation 3 weeks out is pretty warm, okay? So again, a couple of bigger cold fronts, however, not a huge pattern change. What this does tell me, it does tell me that I think that for a time, mid to late October, it gets very, very active. A lot of the analog packages do suggest that there is a lot of mid-October storm activity, especially for places that have been drier. So I do see that happening in the up and down nature of the forecast, and I do see the shots of cold too, and so does some of the ensemble members of the European Weekly sees the bigger cold front there mid to late October, but it also being active. I'll tell you what, there's no signs right now of anything happening in the stratosphere. In fact, there's evidence that the volcanic eruption last year has excessive amounts has really messed up the stratosphere, keeping the vortex stronger, keeping the vortex stronger and colder. And really, there's a lot of evidence to that. You can see that right now that we're running stronger than the average right now. And looking at the forecast, there's no indications of any weakened signs of any vortex early season cold coming in. It's just not on the table right now. When you look at the Nino 3.4, the MEI version 2, when you look at these indexes and you see that what they're running with in terms of other years, what you can see is that they right now we're running close to other strong events, and here's what the forecast looks like. I've been seeing some folks talk about, this could be an 09-10 winter, and there could still be some cold because things aren't linked up, and that's a risky call right now. In fact, there's not a lot of evidence of any early season cold coming whatsoever. I plotted a couple of the analogs that are running closest here for 3.4 and the closest MEI analogs. You've got November here on the left. Years that are running closest: 1982, 91, 97, 09, and 15. November overall warm in the east. December very, very warm. This looks a lot like our forecast. January warm across the northern tier. What would likely happen here in January is it's very warm across the northern tier. It's probably very snowy and stormy down and through here at least, and maybe up the East Coast. There can be a couple of bigger snowstorms. Overall, the idea, the takeaway right now is any big early season cold, there can be a couple of fronts in October. The coldest out of November, December, January is definitely going to be November. We just need to see how the global wind pattern evolves in order to kind of navigate that. But that's kind of the latest thought process right now. There's just not any overwhelming evidence. There's barely any evidence at all to start talking about any signs of any big cold. It's just not there right now. So we'll watch it. Watch for a front around the 9th and the 15th. We'll talk to you soon.